Okay, let's get this party started. I'm excited. How about you guys? All right, so we have... Oh, sorry, those vocals kind of screwed me up there. I was like, can I hear myself? What's going on there? Okay. So it looks like we are going to be flying from Halifax today to Sydney, both in Nova Scotia, Canada. So let's get our plane up and running. First thing we're going to do, so you can see here, we've got these chocks down here on the wheels that keep our plane secure. We've got some covers and pitot covers here, things like that, that keeps our engine and pitot safe when we're not using it. And we're just going to take those off by getting rid of these statics here. So those are the chocks. That's what's on our wheel. Whoops. We're going to get rid of our covers and protectors. And that registration shadow is what was making my registration all glitchy. And see, now it looks all nice and clean. I love that. Okay. So for status, we're going to leave that alone. We are going to put on our headphones and activate noise reduction. And then that's pretty much... Oh, I take that back. I almost forgot the most important part. We need power. We need external power. So we're going to go to statics, and we're going to turn on our external power GPU. Now you can see that we're getting power to our plane. We're going to turn on our generators, or alternator, generator, same thing. Move that to navcom. That's going to be turned to our MFD. Now we can go through utilities checklist. For engine start. All right. We did our pre-flight inspection. Doors are latched. Parking brake works. Battery 1 and 2 is on. Gen 1 and Gen 2 is on. External GPU is on. And we have FDEC channel right here. Perfect. So that's also a check. Engine start. All right. Strobe lights on. Check. CAS messages look good. These are things we expect to see. Thrust lever is idle. Brakes are holding. Well, you guys probably can't see that because my camera was in the way, huh? Here we go. Let's try this. You guys see that? Is that better? All right. There we go. All right, that looks better. I just still need here, let's move you out of my way because you're the issue here. Okay. Engine knob. Can we turn to run? That's this guy way over here. Boop. And verify fuel pump is not... Yep, don't see any CAS messages about that. So we can hit engine start. We're good there. I'm seeing positive N1 and positive N2, so we are good there. All right. All of our engine instruments look normal. Engine IPS. Let's see, what's our temperature? 15 degrees. Actually, that's not too bad. We're gonna... I don't think we'll need it for right now. If we might turn it on if we see some clouds. But for now, I think we're good. That said, external GPU is disconnected. Yep, that's off. Oxygen master switch. Where are you, oxygen? There you go. Oxygen is on. Avionics initialization. Okay, that's in our MFD. So we're going to come down here. We are going to go to utilities, initialization. We're going to do some quick pre-flight tests. All right. Those are good. We can go back. Let's see, fuel. Let's check our sim brief flight plan real quick. It looks like we are calculated for block fuel of 974 pounds. So I'm going to come up here. Whoop, here it is. Go to our weights and balances. I could call in a fuel truck and make it like super, realistic, but let's just have fun and just keep it simple, shall we? So we need 974 pounds. No, we were actually pretty darn close. I mean, 980, that works for me. So we'll stick there. All right. So we're going to sync that to our computer. So now it knows how much fuel we have. Our weights and balances are preset to just be me and the plane by myself. Our flight plan. All right. So now I'm going to go back, actually, back home to SimBrief. And we're going to load up our flight plan. Here she is. Perfect. All right, we're going to add a couple procedures real quick. We're going to add an approach. Let's see. Where are we landing? They say they want us at 24. So let's see. We have ILS 6. All right, so it looks like we're going to do an RNAV for 24. The reads are abrupt. Let's find out. So how I usually figure this out is I go to preview on and put show on map. And then that shows up now way over here on our beautiful screen. We can see here, this is our arrival, basically. Our approach, I should say. And now it can show us the different vectors. Lears. We're going to go with ublub here, only because I know that we're kind of coming in from like the northwest. So that's probably going to be our best bet. We're going to put in some speed constraints real quick for our auto throttle. And our final of descent here, we're going to probably put our FAF. We're going to put a speed constraint of about 100 knots. That keeps us slow enough to land the aircraft, but fast enough to fight any wind we can encounter. We're going to put in about 140 knots here, right at the waypoint before that. And that's just going to slow us down enough so we can initiate flaps and put down our gear, basically. All right, so that is set. So we can go back to utilities, back to initialization. Our flight plan is set. It should have a check now, so we can hit accept initialization. And that's one more check on our list. Just want to make sure you guys can see that. Oh my god, my camera is just covers way too much of the screen. This is what I'm discovering. Okay, there we go. Boop. This just needs to get out of the way. Okay, avionics initialization is done. Caps pins have been removed. Passengers have been briefed because they don't exist. Seatbelts are fastened. Bleed switch. Fresh air. Airflow, that's what we're looking at here. That's switched. All right, before taxi common nav is set. Whoops, let's go back up and let's actually click it this time. There we go. ATS clearance. So we can see if we can ask for clearance here. So request. There we go. Sometimes you got to contact ground, sometimes you contact clearance. It all depends on the airport. Excuse me. All right, they're telling us we're going to go to 7,000 feet. We're going to actually eventually request to change that to flight level 290 because that's going to be the most efficient flight level for us. That's going to help us, our plane will fly most efficiently at that high level. And it's long enough flight where that'll work for us. Did they say 7,000 feet? I'm getting way too hard myself here. 7,000 feet. There we go. All right, read back. Acknowledge.
Vision Jet November 1 Victor 1 Bravo Echo cleared to Charlie Yankee Quebec Yankee Airport as filed. Takeoff runway tree 2 climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Departure on 135 decimal tree squawk tree 747. Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo read back correct. Contact ground on 121 decimal 9er. Good day.
All right, perfect. So we got clearance now. We can check that off. Altimeter is set and check. All right, let's turn to ATIS. Find out what altimeter level set should be.
Halifax Airport information Whiskey 1700 Zulu.
turn the music down a little bit for this.
Clear. Temperature 15. Dew point 13. Altimeter 29.902. ILS
29.902.
landing and departing runway 23.
All right, looks like we're all set there. Perfect.
All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller.
Go back to ground. Transponder is set. Heading initial altitude. We'll set that when we get to the actual runway. Flight controls are free and correct. Whoops. Looks good to me. Takeoff trim at 6%. That's something that's used to get set automatically, but for whatever reason recently has not been the case. So 6 degrees. Don't know why that's so hard to do, but here we are. Whoa, minus 6 degrees. What in the world is going on here? Oops, not you. You. Not minus 6 degrees. You want a positive 6 degrees. Shunk. There we go. That should be at takeoff level now. This is what I'm checking here. Pitch trim. So you can see here it's actually got a takeoff level. We just want to make sure we are in that green zone, which at 6 degrees you should be. That's what it tells us here in our checklist as well. 6 degrees. Let's check. Flaps are at 50%. They're coming down now. That should turn green in a second. Boom. Electric roll trim is already set here. Takeoff go around button pressed. And that's what these just popped up here to display to tell us. Gas switches look good. And seats are in the normal and upright position. Parking brake has been released. Brakes are checked. All right, we're ready for takeoff. We are actually going to get rid of... actually, no, we'll stay. We'll hold on to that. We'll keep that up for now. All right, we're going to request taxi.
Halifax ground vision, Jet November 1 Victor 1 Bravo Echo with Whiskey ready to taxi IFR. Vision Jet November 1 Victor 1 Bravo Echo taxi to and hold short of runway 32 via taxiway Hotel Golf Delta Cross runway 23 Kilo Mike. Contact tower on 128.55 when ready. Taxi to and hold short runway 32 using taxiway Hotel Golf Delta Cross runway 23 Kilo Mike Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo.
All right, now we got taxi clearance. We are basically set to go. I might need a pushback. Let's take a look. Yeah, pushback might not be a bad idea. We're just going to hit the keyboard binding I made for that. We're going to make sure parking brake is off, which it is. And these guys should now push us back to a safe operating point. Oh, that's a classic. That's not what I meant. So we're going to go G. Okay, there we go. Just setting off some VPA stuff. Pushing back, pushing back. That's probably good enough. All right, let's get some thrust. All right, we're going to start our taxi here. A little fast. That was my bad. That's fair. We got a long taxi ahead of us, it looks like. Probably should have done a better job of looking at the chart and making sure that we were parked somewhere close to our runway. That was my fault. I get lazy like that sometimes. When we get to our hold short, we will contact tower and we'll get our clearance for takeoff. We are going to check to make sure this is going to be clear. Looks like we're good. If this was real life, I would have slowed down, obviously, but we are good. Now, don't worry about that CAS message down here, this probe heat off blinking message down here. That's not a big deal. It's actually, in real life, it's pretty normal to not turn on the probe heat until you're pretty much ready to take off, because I believe the probe heat shouldn't be on for more than 5 or 10 minutes prior to being in the air, due to the fact that it can severely damage the probe. I don't know if that fault is built in here to the simulator, but just in case, it's not a bad idea to keep it off. We want to know exactly. We like knowing what our altimeter is and our wind speed, or not our wind speed, our airspeed. Those are good things to know. All right, looks like we're getting close. Of course, my wife has asked me about dinner. I will have to get back to her on that. All right, we're getting real close here. Looks like we're just coming up to our hold short. Okay, so we're now going to hang out here for a second, tune the tower, get some clearance.
Halifax Tower Vision, Jet November 1 Victor 1 Bravo Echo at runway tree 2 ready for departure IFR to Charlie Yankee Quebec Yankee.
Vision Jet November 1 Victor 1 Bravo Echo altimeter 29.9.
You know what? I just realized that this doesn't have live weather on again. There's this glitch where it keeps making me delete my save data in the game, due to the fact that, there we go. That looks more, yeah, that looks more realistic, doesn't it? Jeez. So anyways, yeah, there's a glitch that makes me continuously have to, like, delete my save game data because it keeps getting corrupted for some reason. And, you know, Microsoft doesn't know how to fix it, so here we are. Every time that does that, my settings get screwed up. So my live weather settings, for whatever reason, even though I have to turn them on every single flight, doesn't decide to just stay on. It's very upsetting. Anyways, now we got live weather turned on. Let's get ready for takeoff. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to hit a barometer check. All right, well, still saying 29 or 9 or 2. I don't think that's correct anymore, but it is what it is. Okay. Turn Pro P on. Let's go to our checklist real quick. All right, landing lights on. Check. Pro P on. Check. Engine IPS switch. Outside air is now 1 degree Celsius. So yeah, we were definitely going to turn on some anti-ice. Wing ice, anti-ice we turned on as well. Cast messages are good. It's just telling me about my parking brake is on. Trim is definitely at 6 degrees. Flaps are definitely at 50%. And verify takeoff, ember, back, cast messages is not displayed. It is not. All right, we are good to go. I'm going to go to utilities. I'm going to get rid of checklist by just going to map, full screen. All right, we're good there. We're ready to take off, everybody. We're going to go full throttle with our parking brake on. And I'm going to release the parking brake to get a nice steady thrust for takeoff. I'm just trying to keep us straight here in the middle, in the center of the runway as much as possible. Jeez, I'm fighting some wind here. All right, whoa, we are fighting some wind here. We are up. Autopilot is on. Flight level change is on. Nav mode is on, or armed, I should say. We're going to acknowledge that handoff to ATC real quick. We're going to set our heading bug to our current direction, and we are going to set heading mode on. And now we are going to bring up our flaps, bring up our landing gear, tune to our new ATC frequency, then use this heading knob to bring us back around to our flight plan path. Our planned flight path. That's what we should call it. Planned flight path. Flight path. All right, there we go. That should do it. That should get us turned around and back on our flight plan. Once we get a little bit closer to this part of our map here, and to this red line, you'll see this will get closer and closer to the center. And once that gets closer to the center, that becomes a solid red line, or at least pretty darn close to it, you'll see this will change from heading to FMS, and that's basically telling us that GPS is taking over the flight. Flight level change is trying to bring us up to 7,000 feet. We're going to request an altitude increase. We are going to go as high as it lets us for this first request.
Request 17,000 feet.
Because we're trying to get up to 290. That's our eventual final cruise altitude. That's what we're looking for.
Climb and maintain 7,000.
But they only let you ask for like so much.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo climb and maintain 17,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 17,000 feet. Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo.
That's a control issue with the mouse, having the mouse wheel work for both knobs and zoom. Boom, I'm just going to get this set to 17,000 feet so we don't got to worry about it. Okay, now you're going to get some more altitude increase, so 17,000 feet. We can still do another 10, that'll bring us to 270.
Jet 1 Bravo Echo. Request flight level 270.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo climb and maintain 17,000 feet. Expect flight level 270.
Climb Climb and maintain 17,000 feet. Expect flight level 270.
Okay, that was our, I just saw the plane turn by itself. That was FMS getting turned on there, and that's basically our GPS finally turning on and taking control of the flight. All right, 270. Now we're going to ask for just, see, 7, 8, 9, 3 more. See, 3 more.
Center vision.
Oh, that's so close. 2 more. I knew that. Oh my God, that's so embarrassing.
00.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo climb and maintain 17,000 feet. Expect flight level 300.
That's what I get for trying to do math on camera. Even simple math. Boom.
Climb and maintain 17,000 feet. Expect flight level 300. Vision.
I keep saying there's got to be an easier way to put in your altitude for your flight plan, but I just haven't found it yet. If it does exist, I just haven't seen it.
Moncton Center Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo.
There's 290. There we
Request
go.
flight level 290.
I got to change the voice of my pilot too.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo
Another thing that got changed on me when we deleted our save data due to that corrupt save data issue. Okay, so now we are set. ATC is expecting us to climb to 290, to hold at 290, and to cruise at 290.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo acknowledge last transmission.
Climb and maintain 17,000 feet. Expect flight level 290. Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo.
Oh. So that takeoff thrust warning, that was just basically telling me that we were still using full throttle at a point when we shouldn't be. And all that was is telling, to change that, all I gotta do is turn on auto throttle. And that basically now brings us back to a climb profile that works with our FLC and FMS. And now we're back to a correct thrust level while we climb. And the auto throttle will basically keep control of our speed for the rest of the flight, honestly, all the way down to landing for the most part. Yeah, this is the easy part of the flight. You know, we got autopilot is flying us to our destination, and we got flight level change climbing us up to our cruise altitude. So we're pretty much just sitting back and just watching gauges, making sure everything stays in the green, make sure that the plane still is acting correctly and doing everything it's being told to do. But from here on, it kind of is doing its own thing on its own. It's kind of autopilot pretty much is taking control at this point. So we can sit back and relax. Enjoy the flight. Enjoy the view.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo climb and maintain flight level 250.
Climb and maintain.
We're all set there. We've already set our altitude climb to 290. Well, one thing we do need to do is change our altimeter to standard, even though it's pretty much the same thing. 2992 is pretty much the same thing as standard. So as you'll see, not much changed there. This is a pretty, I'll say another relatively short flight. This one's only about an hour long or so. I want to say it's like just under 200 nanomiles, a little bit less than that, maybe 150. Just under 200, 196. That's what I thought. Oh, but actually, I'm sorry. I jumped out of myself. Technically, we should have switched to standard right about now, which is 18,000 feet. That is called the transition altitude. I don't know why I thought I was higher than that. I was seeing twos in my head, not ones. So yeah, so around 18,000 feet, that's called the transition altitude, and from there we switch from our local barometer setting to a standard barometer setting. The air is much thinner up here, so it has less of an effect. Say not a bad day for flying. Some broken clouds, but not too bad. Just got some nice views. Chat's pretty quiet, unfortunately, today, so you'll just have to deal with me chatting away about the game, about flying and avionics and all that boring stuff. Just if you are watching this on VOD, a quick reminder that we do viewer requests. So if you have somewhere you want to see us fly to, feel free to DM me. Let me know. Be happy to add it to the schedule. Well, we can probably turn our landing lights off. That's one thing we can do. We are above 10,000 feet. Looks like we're at the last little step of our climb here. As you can see, it does not take the Vision Jet long at all to get to cruise altitude, or to these super high altitudes. She climbs quick. It looks like we got some chemtrails, if I'm not mistaken. You can kind of see them in the clouds there. See it? There you go. There's a view. Chemtrails! It's so funny. I swear to God, I never used to see this in the game, and it's just started popping up the last few days. I know that's not the case. It's just, I think it's just with the weather conditions have just been perfect for the Vision Jet to create them. It's just been funny. I've just never seen, in the years I played this game, I've never seen them until a couple days ago. And it wasn't an update I double checked. Yeah. The avionics geek in me thought that was pretty cool. This is just a single stream today. We're not doing restreams today. This is just on Twitch. We will probably try and do another stream this week on TikTok. Those are usually a little bit more fun to watch. We usually have a lot more engagement on TikTok. This will also be available VOD on Twitch. I'll also be uploading this to Facebook and as well to YouTube. So it will be available. You'll be able to watch this again if you want to watch if you want to catch a recap. But yeah, our next stream should be on TikTok, and that's a lot more fun. People are a lot more active on TikTok. Much more active chat for sure. Sending a quick report off to VPA, let them know what's going on, let them know I'm still flying my plane. If you don't know what VPA is, that's the Virtual Pilot Association. What they basically do is it kind of gives me a career mode for Flight Simulator 2020, even though Flight Simulator 2020 doesn't have a career mode. They give me missions I can fly. They basically give you a kind of like what's the word I'm thinking of? A promotion ladder that you can climb, right? So like every flight you do, depending on the hours and the distance you fly, you earn a certain number of wings. And all of that kind of information adds up to what your pilot rating is. They also give you awards for like aircraft experience, airline experience, airliner experience if you do like real life scheduled airliner flights, things like that. I think they even give you extra points for those. But yeah, it's really cool kind of thing. They're very realistic based. They like to make sure that you're setting up your flight plans and things like that, like a real pilot would. So it's something to keep in mind there. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and they do offline, what they call offline data links for Flight Simulator. So if you're an Xbox user like myself, you can also use their Virtual Pilot Association as basically a career mode. It's been a lot of fun for me. And you can also just do general aviation flights, those kinds of things. Basically any flight you do in Flight Simulator, you can pipe into this thing and get credit for. So it's pretty cool. It's been a lot of fun. It just makes it so the free flight isn't just boring flights over and over again. It just gives you something to look forward to. It gives you a goal, gives you inspiration for flights, things like that. It's kind of cool. It's pretty neat. However, they do one of the things they do expect of you is when you're flying a flight is to keep sending them reports about every half hour to an hour, just to prove that you are indeed still flying the airplane, which is fine. That's cool. I think that's great. You don't want people filing they're doing a 24-hour flight and get all that credit when they're just sleeping away, All right, so now that we are at 29,000 feet, we're at a cruise altitude. The computer should be giving us a time to top of descent. Surprisingly, it's telling me 8 minutes. That seems incredibly short. So we should be landing at 1832. So we should be landing in about a half hour or so. So, I mean, yeah, I guess that equals out. We're about halfway through our flight already. Like I said, I knew it was going to be a short one today. This is, I believe, our final hop in North America. I know I said that last stream, but I was wrong. I think this is our final hop. I think we go from CYQY. We have a slightly longer flight, our next flight, and that's going to send us to Greenland. Sorry, computer is glitched out there for a second. It's better now. Whoops, sorry about the mouse. Doo-doo. Yeah, we're not that far away from our approach, necessarily. Quick view of the interior of the Vision Jet.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo, descend and maintain 15,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 15,000 feet. Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo.
I will, but I kind of don't want to. We still got like 100 nautical miles to our destination. Or not even to our destination, just to our first approach waypoint. We'll take it, though. We can do it. All right, so we are now descending to 15,000 feet. Oh.
Descend and maintain 9,000 feet. Expect vectors visual runway 24 approach.
Visual runway 24 approach.
Descend and maintain 2,200 feet.
Nah, we're selecting another approach, good sir.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo, roger.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo would like RNAV Zulu runway 24 approach above transition.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo, you are 83 miles southwest.
Okay.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect RNAV Zulu runway 24 approach via above transition. Cleared to up.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect RNAV Zulu runway 24 approach via above transition. Cleared to above. Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo.
Okay, so there we go. So now me and ATC are on the same page. We are going to go to our planned approach, which is the RNAV Z24 approach via a UBVUP OBVUP transition. We are currently descending to 3,000 feet, currently at 16,000 feet. And again, this is pretty early to be doing so. I'm kind of surprised. We're still pretty far away from up there. Surprised they had us go down this low so fast. We're going to burn a lot of fuel, that's for sure. A lot of extra fuel we didn't need to burn. Such as dealing with ATC. There we go. Nova Scotia coming into view.
Speed air 812, you are 87 miles southwest. Climb and maintain 11,000 feet. Expect vectors visual runway 24 approach.
Surprised I don't see him.
Climb and maintain 11,000 feet. Expect vectors visual runway 24 approach. Speed air 812.
Okay, we're just about 3,000 feet. Coming back to a local barometer setting. Switching that off standard. Now we can check that. We can see what our current barometer is by hitting B. It's 2990. Another thing we could do if we want to be more realistic is we could have gone into our computer here, and we could have gone to nearest and then selected airport and just find the nearest airport to us and then look up their weather METAR, probably in either SimBrief or Flights Planner or something like that, and just find out from there. But Place Simulator gives us that quick little keybind that makes things much easier. And some days, it's just more fun to do that. So we still got a good 15 minutes before we're going to hit our first approach waypoint here of OBVUP. That's why I was saying earlier, I was kind of surprised they brought us down this low so soon.
Contact Moncton Center on 118.6. Good day.
Certainly not efficient flying.
Jet 1 Bravo Echo. Goodbye.
And one of the ways you can tell that is our thrust indicator here. You can see when we were cruising at around 300 knots at 290, we were only at 30% thrust. And now we're at 275 knots, and it's taken us way more thrust just to get to there.
Moncton Center Vision Jet November 1 Victor 1 Bravo Echo 3,000 feet.
Vision Jet November 1 Victor 1 Bravo Echo Moncton Center altimeter 29.90 radar contact. Continue to up.
However, flying this low is a great view. Nova Scotia is a gorgeous flight, that is for sure. Gorgeous area to fly over. I've been doing so many longer flights lately that like this short flight has kind of got me shook. I'm like, are we sure we're ending so soon? Been doing too many 3 to 4 hour flights. We still got another 12 minutes before we reach our first approach waypoint. So we can just kind of sit back, relax, enjoy the view. And the tunes, for that matter. Unless you're watching on VOD, sorry. However, you can help fix that. You want music in our VODs, please feel free to drop us a donation. It's not much. I think it's $11 a month, something like that. So, you want to hear some of the music on our VODs, please, please be kind and donate. Well, I take that back. If you're watching our VODs on Facebook or YouTube, you'll hear music, but probably not, unfortunately, Twitch. A little bit of a tailwind there, giving us a little push, which is kind of nice. You can see our wind information's right here. It's telling me that I'm getting a 26 knot wind from 286 degrees. So 286 is like right down here, and it's coming this way. Basically, it's coming from 286. So as you can see, that arrow is pointing that way, and you can see here that pretty much tells us the exact same thing. 286, about 26 knots. Which 26 knots is nothing to laugh at, by the way. But looks like it's more of a tailwind than a crosswind. My engine's struggling to chase this 250 at this level. It's so inefficient. Just burning fuel right now. One of these days I'm going to check to see what my GPH is when we're up at like 290, and then double check and see what it is when we're down here this low. Just to have those numbers to show you guys how dramatically different it is. GPH is gallons per hour, by the way. Or gallons burned per hour, to be more exact. 7 minutes away from our first approach waypoint. Like I said, flying this low does give a very nice view, however. That is one of the benefits. We are absolutely wasting fuel, but boy, what a view. All right, it looks like we've only got 3 waypoints in our approach, so it should go pretty quick. Still got about 5 minutes before we reach our first waypoint. Oh, looks like we're crossing over some sports stadium. Maybe a racetrack? Where are my Sydney peoples at? Sydney people at? You guys can tell me. Aha. I see that little target over there. That says Sydney. That, I believe, is our airport. Which makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, that's our airport right there. You can see the runways, lights. We're going to swing around here for our approach soon. About 2 minutes or so. 2 to 3 minutes. When we make that turn, I'll jump back in the cockpit and see if we can get approach mode armed and ready. Bring this baby in for a landing. We're getting close for sure. Oh, you know what? I forgot about the VPA completely. Luckily, we're still within 26 minutes, or still within an hour of our last report, so we're good. Sent them another quick report just now. Once again, let them know we're still flying the flight.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo descend and maintain 2,000 feet.
2,000 feet, you say?
Descend and maintain 2,000 feet. Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo.
We can do that. All right, we are just approaching OBUP now, as they call it. ATC calls it. And once we switch to Gagbu as our next waypoint, our next targeted waypoint, we're going to turn on approach mode. That's the APR button here on your autopilot board, but I have it key bound, so I'm just going to hit the key on my keyboard for simplicity's sake. Boom. All right, and now we know that that's armed because GP has now shown up over here. We're going to stay in FMS because this is an RNAV approach, which means it's going to use GPS to bring us to guide us to the actual runway. And then we're going to use a glide scope or glide path, which is this guy here, to guide our descent and make sure that we descend at a steady 3 degrees down to the runway. What you're seeing here is the bottom of a diamond. As this falls, as we get closer to the runway, this will start to come down more and more and more. The diamond will eventually hit this middle line. And when it does, our airplane will start to follow that same pattern, that same speed, that same descent profile as that diamond was taking. And you'll see that it will basically catch the plane and start to bring it down with it. It's kind of cool how it works.
Speeder 812, I have the runway in sight. Speeder 812, you are 7 miles north of Charlie Yankee, Quebec Yankee. Turn right heading 180.
Vision Jet 1 Bravo Echo.
All right, so I just let them know I hear that I'm cleared for approach. Somewhere in there, they told me that. Vision Jet, you're 11 miles northeast, yeah. Cool. All right, we are already headed to our final. So we are at 140 knots, so that means we can bring down our flaps and our gear. So we're at 50% flaps right now. And our gear is down. Perfect. Nothing like landing in golden hour. B190. Oh, is that Spirit 812? It is Speed Air 812. Hi, Speed Air 812. We've been hearing about you for a while. It's good to see you. We've been listening to you chatter. I think we're both going to approach pretty much around the same time. All right, vertical path has been is activated because we are now within a minute of our time to top a descent. We're not using a VNAV approach, so this is just going to bypass us. That doesn't really mean anything for us, but it's just good to know. It's good to know that if something went wrong, we got VNAV to back us up, basically. But we do now see that the diamond is beginning to fall, so we're getting there. We are getting there. Like I said, when that diamond gets close to the center line here, it should turn green, activate, and catch us. We'll see what happens. It's been a little glitchy, so we'll see if it catches us or it goes right past us and we got to go back to get it. That's happened a lot recently where I basically have had to descend more just to get it to catch for some reason. All right, perfect. So glide path just clicked over. We are now officially descending to our runway. You can see our runway is right over here. You can see our runway lights. If you're wondering why we're flying into it at a diagonal angle, that is because of the 23 knot headwind we are currently dealing with. You can see right here. So what's happening is because it's blowing to us from the side like that, we have to kind of aim into that in order to keep on actually flying on our path instead of having it blow us more and more and more off path, right? So that's what we're doing is we were tilted, pointed into the wind to fight that wind to keep us moving down this line as we should be. So don't think that's crazy. Don't think that's weird. We technically are going we are technically flying in a straight path to that runway. It's just we are crooked because we are fighting that wind. But the plane itself is moving in a straight path. And you can see this by looking at this little green guy right here. See that? That little like green target? That's telling us where the plane's actually flying. So this is telling us where we're pointed. This is telling us where the plane's actually flying to based off of wind and so on and so forth and our direction. But if you look close enough, you can see that's pretty darn close to our runway. It's really trying to lock directly onto the middle of that runway. Now, GPS and RNAV is not nearly as accurate as a localizer or an ILS landing, so we may take control of this a little early just to keep us actually straight with the runway. It looks like another quiet stream, not too many viewers today. No chatters today, which is fine. Totally understand. It's a weird time to stream to begin with. I hope we catch you guys on the VODs. Again, check out our next stream. It should be on TikTok. And like I said, there's usually way more activity on TikTok when we stream there. So it should be a much more fun stream, much more active and lively stream for sure. Twitch has just been dead lately, unfortunately. It's not every day the glide scope and the VATS measure up. I'll take it. Oh, never mind. I lied. Alright, so we're probably going to take over. Turn off autopilot at this point. Try and get that glide back. There we go. Now we're back on a 3-degree. Oh, a little lower, a little lower. Way lower, way lower. It's okay. We got this. Buttery. All right. Perfect. We are on the ground, ladies and gentlemen. On the ground. All right. So now let's find the way to get off. We got to turn around, don't we? We do got to turn around. Yep. That happens a lot in these smaller airports, which is fine. Slow down. And then this baby can turn on a dime. Boom. Love it. Get us some thrust back. Hopefully before Speed Air lands. Oh boy. Whoa boy. Speed Air, please go around. No, I think we're going to be good. I think we're going to be out of here before they touch down. Long before they touch down. Perfect. All right. Looks like ATC is going to glitch out on us. So it looks like we might not get to park, or at least get, but we'll see. Now it's clear runway.
Quebec Yankee traffic vision. Jet November 1 Victor 1 Bravo Echo is clear of the runway.
No response. No other options. Yep. So that's a glitchy ATC. So that's fine. We're just going to end the stream here. We don't need to park. That's fine. I just want to thank you guys for showing up. If you did watch, if you're watching on VOD, we also appreciate you. Be sure to leave a like and a follow, and we'll see you guys on the next stream. Thanks for showing up.